Ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing for any construction site, more important than anything else, is the safety of the worker, the safety of those who risk their lives each and every day to build the buildings that we all live in and work in, and that we all take for granted. I told you in jury selection that we have brought this case under very specific sections of New York law, commonly referred to as the labor law. And I told you during jury selection that the court at the end of the case will give you the description of those special laws. Those laws, ladies and gentlemen, were enacted to protect workers at construction sites who every day go to buildings that don't have walls, that go to buildings where things can fall from a height and injure or kill them, who climb ladders and scaffolds that most of us look at and ask ourselves, how does that person get up there? And so our state has seen fit to protect those workers. And we have brought this case under those specific sections of the labor law. And ladies and gentlemen, the evidence in this case will show that Uptown, the owner of this construction site, and Capital Construction, the general contractor at this construction site, violated the labor law of the state of New York. For them, ladies and gentlemen, safety was second. The accident occurred on October 25th, 2005, right up the street at 1212 7th Avenue. At the time of this accident, there was a brand new skyscraper being built. As you heard a little bit about during jury selection, the owner of that skyscraper, Uptown Partners, is one of the largest real estate owners in the United States. The contractor is one of the largest construction companies in Canada, and they do a lot of projects in the United States. And Ray's job on the day of this accident was to work for Frankie's Framing as a framer. And what he and his crew were accomplishing was the framing of the interior portions of the building. And on this particular day, the framers were working on framing a window which was about 14 feet up in the air. And in order to do that, what they did was they put two planks across two open doors and used the two planks as a makeshift scaffold. So if you look behind you real quick and you see the doors that we have in this very courtroom, you'll see the kinds of doors, two swinging doors. These doors were open. It segued from one end of the floor to the other. And these doors had two planks on top of them. Each of the planks was 2 feet by 6 feet, 2 feet wide by 6 foot long. And in order to secure these planks to the doors, you know what they did? They used two cinder blocks. And they hoped that those cinder blocks would be able to hold down the planks so that they can climb on the planks and frame the window above. There was nothing, the evidence will show in this case, nothing whatsoever securing those cinder blocks. They lay on the planks which were on top of the doors, unsecured. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence in this case will also show that there was nothing keeping these doors open. The doors were in the position that they were, but were unsecured, so that if the doors were to close, it would all come down like a house of cards. So the cinder blocks were unsecured, and the doors were unsecured. And how did this accident happen? Ray Sawyer was doing his job when his supervisor asked him to bring some wood from one side of the floor to the other. He needed to go through the doors. And as he was carrying this wood at the direction of his supervisor, who clearly he couldn't say no to, he accidentally bumped into one of the doors. And what happened when he bumped into one of the doors? Well, since the door was unsecured, and since the planks had cinder blocks on top, and the cinder blocks were unsecured, the door moved, the planks came down, and hit Ray Sawyer on the head, rendering him unconscious. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one question that you will have to answer under the labor law of the state of New York. And that question is, was this makeshift Mickey Mouse scaffold adequate? Were the planks adequately secured? Because if they were not, ladies and gentlemen, the evidence in this case will show that it was a defective scaffold and that the owner and general contractor were absolutely liable for that defective scaffold because they failed to provide Ray Sawyer with a safe place to work.